Wait, are you just recording the audio, right? Not recording the video, right?
Oh no, I'm recording everything.
Oh, then he's gonna have a fun time being all.
No, I will cut this part out. I'll cut this part out. Yeah, I sambung balik later. We're in the Street Fighter 6 era, right? It is
Yeah.
just started. It just dropped. By the way, we're already recording because I thought this was nice.
Oh, okay.
This is nice to pull it all in together and see what happens, right? Just kind of live chaotically. And Street Fighter 6 drops, right? And so the mad scientist Joshua and I have been sitting in the office talking about it, and he's like, "Are you gonna buy it?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm not gonna buy it." I was like, one of my other friends in the Valorant group chats and all that, they were like, "Hey, are you gonna are you gonna buy it?" I said, "No, no, it looks like trash. It looks like this. It's too complex. There's too many buttons. I know it's only two buttons, to activate drive, right?
Right,
The
yes.
gameplay thing, right? The new thing that they do, but it does so many things. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can dash forward. Oh, I can parry something. Oh, I can counter or absorb or FADC, focus attack cancel a move, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh man, it's like I get the idea. I get what they're trying to do. Not only are trying to fix the problems of Street Fighter 4, fix the problems of parrying that Street Fighter 3 had, and fix the problems of having an offensively minded game only in name as Street Fighter 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
That got us talking, right? You know what I mean, Josh? Like,
Yeah.
where were we gonna go with it next? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. So I think just to continue from there, I'm sitting on the other side where your friends from Valorant are curious and so on. So I've actually gone in to order a PS5.
no, you
Just
haven't.
Oh,
I have
wow.
I have
Just for SF6?
yeah, for actually mainly for two games. So it's for SF6, but there's also another game that's dropping this month, which is gonna be Final Fantasy 16.
Mate, I've,
Yeah.
I've
So
lost you
Okay.
already. I've
those
lost you. I
no
don't
no
think we'll
okay.
see you in the
No, but
office
here's the
anymore.
thing. So we're on this, right, where it's kind of like I do get the thoughts of like John, what you were saying, and then also what we were discussing previously, right, with the drive gauge and how, like, right now to go into like a drive rush you got to parry first and then you hit forward twice to go into a drive rush, right, and then
Oh
you've
my
got
god.
all of the other drive systems, and then you've got the burnout system, and you've got the
I'm already like too much information.
and then you've got like
Are you sure you're a casual?
no man, I'm a total nerd when it comes to like I've not even touched the game, dude. Guys,
Okay.
I've not even touched the game, but I'm looking at YouTube videos,
Yeah.
looking at content creators doing up the stuff, telling me which are the best characters to start off with, and so on. So I'm a total nerd for all this kind of stuff. So but I think it's like because like what you said, right? It's kind of like they're taking what they had in terms of the focus attack from SF4,
Mm-hmm.
but also they got to settle with the parry system that they had in SF3,
Yep.
and also the supers for the normal moves, right? In how
Yep.
you
The EX
execute them.
fireballs and all
So,
that, right?
so it's kind of like I get it that it's like a building heritage, right? Because there is, and I know Street Fighter is not very known for narrative, but I think they're trying to string along, sort of like, okay, guys, we started here, but we're taking a step back when it comes to SF4 before SF3, but now SF5 is kind of 2.5. I
Oh,
don't know, that kind of stuff.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Arman, did you know that Street Fighter 3 happens after Street Fighter 5?
What? Wait,
Yeah.
timeline wise.
Yes.
Yeah, timeline wise.
So, like,
Crazy, right? It's like-
I know recently you got off the Marvel hype train, and
Yeah.
it's okay. I don't judge you for it, even though Guardians was a great movie. But, 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 but seriously though, like, you know the whole story, right? Do you remember? Do you know the story of Street Fighter 3, Arman?
No, not really
Okay, it was a
recall.
way
Yeah.
too far leap forward for them, right? Like it was
Okay.
like, where's Ken Ryu? That was the first things that people said when they first saw like Electronic Gaming Monthly articles about it in a
Right.
magazine and all that. So they brought Ken
Okay.
Ryu in, and they were
Hmm.
like, "Well, that's it. You're gonna just do all new characters and do away with all the story and the lore." So they tried to fix the game over the course of iterations,
Mm.
as Capcom likes to do, right? As
Wait,
Capcom.
this is Fei Long, this is
Oh
DJ.
no, mate, that's Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, Super. That's
Oh,
SSF2T, right? Like, oh fucking hell, Street Fighter. I mean, like all the the acronyms in the world,
For
right?
Super Turbo,
Yeah,
whatever.
Super Turbo, right? Yeah. So right after Super Turbo, then
right.
you lose everything. It's all Street Fighter 3, right? That is the guy that
Okay.
has like Necro and 11 and Gil and the Naked Guy
Remy and
Urian.
stuff.
Yeah, they changed it up,
Oh, right. Okay, okay,
and
okay.
they lost a lot of people that way. Like the hardcore like weeb fans who were playing it
Hmm.
for what would be quasi story, they
Right.
dropped off the game. They didn't want to play anymore. It was too different. And it took a long time before it got cult status, right? You already know the Daigo Parry and all that, right? That's how that
Yeah,
game
yeah.
achieves its its mass glory and all that. But yeah, just to bring it back a little bit, it's yeah. So Street Fighter 4 happens after Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 5 happens after Street Fighter 2. Happens after Street Fighter
Okay.
4, and we don't know where 6 sits yet.
In
But
terms
we
of timeline.
yeah, so it's
Okay.
got to be after 3, right? Because in 3 Ryu is not an old fuck. I mean, sorry, an old man. Edit that out later.
No, but you're right. You're right. I think it actually takes place after Street Fighter
Yeah,
3. So they're looking at it as that's why you got this weird dude named Luke taking the front.
the Shadaloo guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So he's gonna like the sort of main front the game.
Yeah.
In a sense, yeah. So I mean, yeah, it is a step forward narrative wise for Street Fighter itself, and
Hmm.
yeah, mechanics wise, and also I think it's a step forward, but I think yeah, we really got us talking in terms of like mechanics and catering to new audiences and just the wider scope of it. I think in terms of we even got down to some, which I hope we can cover in things like what is it about the fighting games and
Hmm.
how we're trying to mass appeal, and it should be, I mean, as much as possible, getting people on
Right.
into the genre. Yeah.
Because it used to be a case of, I mean, Arman, you remember this
Hmm.
when we were all kids, because we're closer in age than than us and Josh, right?
Yeah.
But
I'm not
like,
that far away, but
true, fine, fair enough. But the impact Street Fighter had, it wasn't just an arcade hit, right? It's
Oh,
like
it was a phenomenal, dude. It was something in the pages of history.
for sure,
Yeah.
it was a coin eating machine, and
Yes.
like people would go cross town just to play the latest version, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
okay, yeah, 2 Championship Edition, Turbo, you know what I mean? And meanwhile, all these other games are coming up, but nobody's got the hype train like Street Fighter does, right? People
Yes.
still want to play this slow, methodical, chess matchy kind of game. You want to mix them up. That was the goal of the game, and get them into a loop, and then hit them with the ton of bricks, which is your 3-hit uppercut or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
it takes like half the life bar when you land it, right?
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts, Arman? I thought, like reading some of the hype that is about Street Fighter 6 today. I mean, like, because there's a lot of things that came out in the market materials,
Yeah.
and being that you're, I guess we could talk a little bit about it. Ex agency, now client side. You've gone
Right.
through the ringer on both sides. You can see
Right.
the thing from both sides, because like Josh and I have some really heavy like opinions about it, but I think we want to
Okay.
get yours first. You know what I mean, in terms of how you feel like the rollout is so far.
Like, I think like with most games, I guess Street Fighter is a triple A game, right?
Yeah.
And when people say Street Fighter is just okay, you have my attention. Whatever happens is based on, like you said, lah, Street Fighter 3 disaster, and then suddenly became what it is. And I think Street Fighter has always been about the players and the fans. I don't think it's ever been about how it is as a game. It has elevated itself from more than just a fighting game into something where it's like, yeah, dude, it's Street Fighter. Like, just no questions, right? We just go,
Okay.
what's new? What have you added on? What's cool? What character? This and that, right? People, you don't just go, oh, it's gonna be sucky. It's gonna be this. Yes, I mean, like, I think most AAA games are coming out now like half-assed.
Yeah.
But with Street Fighter, people don't really question. You just put Street Fighter, go, okay, I'm interested. Tell me more.
I feel like you're saying it's achieved like Jordan level.
Yeah, right. Like you just don't question Street
Yeah.
Fighter anymore. You just go, okay, what are the new things you're going to introduce this time around, right? Like
Okay.
people are no longer expecting, like, oh, is it gonna flop? Is it gonna this? Because I think they've learned their lessons quite a bit. I think what happened with the online thing with Street Fighter 4, is it like
No, it was
it has
5. It was
five, right? So,
five was the dirty person in the
yeah, it
room.
was the dirty one, right?
Yeah.
But see, the thing is, they really listen to their fans,
Mm.
right? Very few games that go, okay, what do the fans want? Let's try to cater to them because they are the engine that drives the game, right? Because again, it's a fighting game. Like, how much traction can you get? Like, again, me, a casual gamer, right? A casual fighting gamer that goes, how long can I play? Because it's more fun playing with you guys, right? If I play with friends, have a few laughs, few shots and that. But other than that, longevity for me, it's not going to work, right? So you have to cater to guys like you guys, like parry. We know what's this. Okay, we spend like 13 hours in the gym just trying to know what parry, which combo to parry, right? Okay, and then play with the bot. And you guys are clocking in the hours, right? So if the developers don't listen to the fans, the game is just gonna die, right?
Bro, you're getting me off guard completely, man. I was
Why?
expecting this guy to come in here and just rip Street Fighter 6, right? Like, because so I play little known facts about everybody here. Obviously, I play a lot of Apex Legends with Arman, and he hates it every time there's a change in the game. Why does it have to be like this? Oh, why does it have to be like that? Why can't they just leave it the way it was?
Old uncle shaking like, you damn dirty fools.
So, okay, I love that though. I mean, because Josh, we were talking about it, right? And when we saw some of the marketing materials that you've seen for Street Fighter 6, as you rightly said, Arma, it's about angling it towards the fan, the hardcore enthusiast as well, right? But to me, I felt like this was a front. It was like, I was like, hey, wait a second, man. Like, not everybody plays Street Fighter 6 because it's an esport game, you know what I mean? And all they were showing me was like, esports, $1 million prize pool. And to me, I felt like that's cheating. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
your game might be trash, but you give anything $1 million prize pool, I'll play. I'll play if I'm halfway decent.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, so I was just like, I don't know about that. I don't know. Josh, what do you think?
No, I think it's kind of like, I mean, like Arman has a strong point, right? Because Capcom has taken the fans' feedback on board. I mean, that's why they, in recent years, and then especially with SF6, right, they did release a couple of betas, or maybe even more beta sessions.
Yeah, I
to
think so,
really
right?
get. Yeah, they did. So I think
It was
they
a
did
long one.
It was a long one. Yeah. I think it was like a couple of weeks the first time, and I think they had a recent one. They had a couple this year. So they had one last year, and then they had like two major ones this year as well. Where, I mean, they're really treating it as like feedback from the fans. It's a really serious thing, no? But I get where John you're coming from as well, where it kind of feels like it's trying to have your cake and eat it in a sense.
Yeah.
With the prize pool money
Yeah,
for cup and
I mean, it's like a surefire way of guaranteeing success is to offer a prize pool money for the longevity of the game, right? So they must have some sort of, Dota International type of prize pack that you pay for and you support the actual prize money of the international, right? So I'm sure they have something like that in place, right? Wherever all the DLC packs, all the skins, all the stages, all the new characters are all going to go into financing this thing. And I just feel like, I don't know, man. Like, is that true blue, good old fashioned marketing, putting your foot to the floor or getting your foot in the door and saying, hey, would you like to buy a vacuum today? You know what I mean?
Okay. So I have a good point to that, like John. I think like now how games are marketed is very, very different than how it used to.
Oh,
Like back
100%.
in our day, we relied on magazines, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Electronic Gaming Monthly.
Electronic Gaming Monthly, like, oh, what's coming up next year, right? Oh, what's coming out in the next few months? We literally had to buy the magazine a few months back. But it's funny how the both of you have mentioned the $1 million prize and all the marketing I see for Street Fighter is got nothing to do with that.
Really?
You see? You know what I've
Oh,
been seeing? Luke
okay.
going Hadouken, Hadouken.
Really? That's it?
That's it, dude. It's all about the online version,
Oh
about
my
your
god.
pre-owned character, you
Oh,
going
he's getting
around beating up people. You
this,
see?
yeah, the world tour and all that. He's getting that,
Yes.
yeah.
So I'm getting it because again, I'm filthy casual, right? They go, okay, this guy will probably feed him this algorithm because he's not serious. And then we go, oh, this dude has been watching like, esports about Street Fighter for the past 12 years. Okay, let's feed them that, right? And
You're
then you
probably
see something
right.
because I go like, yeah, because you say like 1 million guy. I didn't see that. I've never seen any of the marketing about, Street Fighter 6 tournament 1 million and all that. I see very everyday gamer type marketing of Street Fighter 6 to me.
Huh.
Yeah, and when you say that Luke thing, that thing is stuck to my head. You know when Ryu does Hadouken, he just does that mock Hadouken, Hadouken. It's been popping up in my social
Man, you're gonna
everywhere.
if
Like
I
on
play Street Fighter 6, I'm not playing Ryu just because you said it that way, man. Come on.
You gotta
My
play like
favorite
some
character.
white guy, no man.
no, because it's funny that Luke mocks that Hadouken that Ryu does, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You've not seen that?
No, I have not
I've
seen
not seen
that.
that. Actually.
Yeah, it's Luke's thing. Like you can like I think you can jaws the characters.
Yeah.
You can have a
Oh,
button that you jaws.
Hmm.
So Luke does that. Luke literally does Hadouken,
cheeky
Hadouken.
bugger.
Yeah, to
Cheeky
mock
bugger.
Ryu, right? And it's
Okay.
on my social. It's everywhere on my social, on my YouTube. So it's weird how they know who to market what to it. So which is why I think Capcom is way smarter than we think they are,
Hmm?
right?
Hmm.
You know, you
They
go like,
got a good social listening team.
yeah, exactly. See, exactly, yes. Because I go like, what are you guys talking about? This 1 million thing. I've not seen that.
Yeah, I wonder whether that's Josh just because you and I watch a lot of like Justin Wong and the other guy,
No, I think it could be, you know,
Maximilian
because I
Dude, right?
mean, like Armand has a point where it could be messaging that's layered and filtered, you know, to certain audiences. So because we watch a lot of content creators and a lot of replays on tournament matches and stuff, right? So
Hmm.
and yeah, so
Wow.
it might be just catered to us.
I
But I'm
wonder,
also
I wonder
getting
whether we got fooled by our own, our own type of marketing strategy. You know what I mean? Like we go to clients, like, no, you have to talk to different people differently. We got fooled by
Yeah,
our own
and
thing. Fudge.
correct. And it's so weird that when I see that, I go like, this must be fun. I'm gonna annoy John when he picks up 656. I'm just gonna use Luke and just do that.
No, dude, you're not gonna get a chance, man. I'll smash you. Smash you. I'm putting
But
the
yeah,
time
see-
right
see-
now.
But see, tying back to what we do as a
Yeah.
day to day, right? Like how marketing is. It's good that you brought it out. Like how is it marketed? And again, I think everything is vastly different now. You can be very specific. You can be very targeted.
Yeah.
Especially you know where the audience are. You know, in terms of online presence, social. But back then it's very hard. Like you had to either do on ground, you had to do like in-store tournaments or just have the game ready to be played, right? You remember, John?
Yep.
Like you go to Kmart or Walmart, they had that machine that you can play. Like it's just like you can select 2 characters to play,
Yeah.
and that's how we experience the game. But now, as you said, Josh, it's like beta testing. They've got like early releases. So in a way, how marketing has pushed games is very very different now versus how it was before,
Yeah.
right? And then
100%
now
agree.
we've discovered that they have been doing targeting ads.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think, like,
Yeah. True,
yeah, it's true, right?
Marketing ads.
Yeah,
I didn't think of that way, right? Because I think a part of my brain just sort of ignored that. Like, a part of my brain just kind of assumed that everybody was going to get the same message because I just figured it's Capcom, right? Like,
right.
But it's not just you, John. I mean, it kind of blindsided me as well. So it's like,
right?
and we are supposed to be.
Yeah, we're supposed to understand this shit. The
We
fuck,
should understand shit.
man.
Yeah.
We're gonna get like. Can I speak to you too? Do you not read the things you create on a semi-daily basis? Okay, I want to talk about World Tour mode before we get into the nuts and bolts of things, right? Because we talked about fans and keeping the fans happy and all that. And World Tour mode, I'm sure everyone's played Street Fighter Alpha 3, right? We all
Yep.
have. So if you had a Dreamcast or a PlayStation, there was a special mode called World Tour. You could take your Ken or Ryu, whatever, across the globe and do all these cool little challenges and all that. It's a nice time suck, right? Like you just put all your time in there playing it because it's Street Fighter, right? More often than not, you'll be in and out 3 minutes, no more than that, right? And then you could go do something else if something pops up, right? But if you're gonna play Final Fantasy, you're gonna commit 2 to 3 hours, maybe at least a half hour before the next save point. So it's never easy to get into. Now, I've seen a lot of the World Tour content. It looks funny, like in the way that you could create characters that just look so hilarious.
Looks pretty damn cool, dude.
I know, but I wonder, like, I know it is just to get the casual, right? It is just to get the guy who played a little bit of ranked and is going, damn, I wasted 250 ringgit on this. I'm just getting washed. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh yeah, never mind. I got like a totally different mode I can play, and it's gonna be fun for me. It's gonna add and extend the gameplay for me. Now I wonder, right? Like, because this is coming down to creating modes of the game to ensure that you're reaching another audience, which is not necessarily built around the core gameplay mechanics of what you need to know, right? Because it's counterintuitive to what the game is trying to be, right? Like, in certain circles, it's an esports title. But in other circles, it's, hey, come and just screw around and, build a guy that has like 7 foot tall and has a wingspan of like 15 feet. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a question on that, but I just want to wonder, like, what are your thoughts on that? Because, like, it's not really, we didn't get it in 5. We didn't get something like that in 4. 4 was just pretty much you against me. That's it, right? It was like the hype was so big because Street Fighter made a comeback. That's why it was such a big deal.
Yeah.
But, now we're into it. Are we coming to that point in fighting games where it's starting to reach that, okay, we're running out of ideas to keep the interest? Is money the only way? Or I know that's what Josh and I believe.
Yeah, I think maybe just to sort of like and that's great, John, that you brought up the original Street Fighter Alpha 3 World Tour, right? Because I think back then it was, guys, do you remember this? I think it was 1998. It was like,
Okay.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks.
Yeah.
so it was
I was alive back then.
yeah, I was alive. so yeah, it was 1998. So I think the idea for us and as fans of like Street Fighter, right, back then, the World Tour was basically just it was just to expand on the breadth of Street Fighter being a world, sort of like a world tournament, right? Because they brought us to like Hong Kong, and then they brought us to Singapore, and then they brought us to the UK and stuff. But it was interesting in the fact that the extent of where it went was, because like Street Fighter has always been like a global fighters kind of thing, right? But they also added in mixes like, oh, you can have like a 2-on-1 bout with Bison, for instance, or like a multi-fight with like the Julie and Junie clone twins, right? But that was the extent, right? But I think going back to like how audiences are now in 2023, right, where kids and most of the audiences now are used to, like you guys play Valorant, right?
No, I used to play. He didn't play.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, but it's also the casual masses are into stuff like Genshin Impact, right? That the open world stuff, and there is GTA from our generation, and even now, right, with Zelda, and we're all hooked up on the open world thing. So I think this is where Capcom is coming from, in order, because I think they're also they're building in terms of learning some simplified mechanics of Street Fighter into World Tour as well. So they're trying to teach you in a medium that people are into at this point in time. So there is that sort of longevity, but also I think they are also smartly trying to build in to teach people who want to be in. So they're trying to lower the barrier a little bit through a differentiated content that is relevant to us in this age.
I get what you're saying. I totally get it. I don't. For me, I feel like it doesn't. I don't know whether I'm just being old. You know what I mean? Like I just don't know whether like it's okay, for all intents and purposes, I think Street Fighter 6 sounds like a great game. All right, like let's not talk about what I think about the gameplay at the moment and the complexities of that. I think let's just talk about as an offering. I think they finally fixed the problems of Street Fighter 5. There's an arcade mode, there's a this mode, there's a that mode. The netcode is fixed. The reason to play, the USP is stronger than it has been ever, right? Like now you don't want to just be the king of the neighborhood, right? Or the king of the city. You want to be king of the country. Because when you rep for your country or your spot, right? You're repping for everybody. You know what I mean? So all that, tip top. I think they nailed it, right? It's just sometimes I feel like the cherry on the top, this world tour thing being like a nice add-on, and I know what you're saying. It lowers the barrier for entry. If I get people playing the game more, they're less likely to play something else. Other people might be more likely to join. It's the same trap with every app that exists out there, right? The longer I'm on Grab, the longer I'm on Boost, the longer I'm going on Touch and Go, e-wallet. Oh, okay, hold on. I shouldn't have said the competitors for Arman's for Arman's job.
It's fine. It's fine.
But the idea, even YouTube, right? Keep you longer. That's why they're shorts. That's why they're whatever kind of content, right? I just don't know, like, it's a nice to have. Do I think they're going to support it in the future? Probably not. Like I like the idea of customization and taking my character who I've painstakingly leveled to whatever level there is and then throwing them in a ranked match would be like, okay, that's interesting, right? That is you going on your own personal MMA journey and learning what you want to learn, whether it's a Muay Thai or wrestling or I don't know. What is the one that Satsui no Hado in Street Fighter?
Or like a Tai Chi Kwan from like Chun-Li and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Like whatever it might be, and then take that and then say like, hey, you know what? I think I put these pieces together. And then if I put that into the game, into the main part of the game, then I'm going, okay, I think we've done something different. I know this is like a huge risk though, right? Because balance is a problem. But I don't know. I mean, do you think it's frivolous, you guys? I'm not sure. I don't want to. I know. I mean, when I point it out like that, maybe it might seem like a little frivolous, but I totally get what Josh said, though. Like, if more time spent on the game means more gameplay, it's a better success, right?
Right. Okay. So I do have a question with that, though. So, like, does the mode, when you level up, do you get pitted against similar level players or how?
I think rank matches, you get to.
But not for your World Tour character, right?
Yeah, for your World Tour characters.
Your
No?
World Tour, I think it's all NPCs, and then some non-ranked player-to-player interactions, so you can't fight each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's no PvP tournament from World Tour.
Not in a way that it matters. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause you just go in there and beat each other up, right? And then, I guess you'd get some experience points.
Right. So, but I can take that character and then play ranked online.
No, you cannot.
No, you can't. I think how it works is that your character will go into like a battle hub, so you can still see your custom created avatar, but you would still in ranked matches. I think you would still need to select out of what's the roster now? 16 characters. Yeah.
16.
Yeah, I think it's 16. It usually starts out that way now. It's like 16, then they'll extend.
I know nobody cares about the ringgit, but I want 10 ringgit for one character. Come on.
Dude,
10 ringgit for one I want 25 characters at the day of launch. Come on. Look, how many times have we all played King of Fighters?
A bajillion times.
Yeah, I know it's like NBA 2K. You have to buy it every year. New game, right? 94 until 2003. I have them all. And every single time
are we
the roster
including
game
matches in them? I don't know.
No, I mean not anymore. But you can have at least 50 characters on day one launch, right? So I don't know. Maybe I'm just being picky, but yeah. But what was your question that you wanted to finish?
No, so again, what you said, if it's two separate type of gameplay, so one is just Street Fighter beat 'em up, and then you can go rank, and then one is World Tour where you make your avatar, create however character you want, and then you just go around beating up people with no link to the main game, right?
Pretty
so
much.
It's technically two separate gameplays.
Oh,
Actually,
you selling them hardcore, bro. You just
Right?
did Capcom. Capcom marketing is gonna be like, hey, Arman, can I get your logic on a few things in this?
Yeah, because in Joshua's point, it's saying that's the entry point, right? So you lower the barrier of entry
Mm-hmm.
to not get people too scared about Street Fighter. Play the world tour, kind of have fun with it, and then at the same time, embedded somewhere, there's a hardcore fighting game, right?
mm,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Versus what you and I play, John, so which is Apex.
Yeah.
So I started playing Apex before anything. Like there was only Battle Royale,
mm,
Mm-hmm.
right? But now Apex has a lot of modes.
Yeah, but all of them are trash.
Correct. But it is still tied to the core gameplay of the Battle Royale, right? So you like
Yeah.
have control, you have deathmatch. So it kind of familiarizes the player with the style of play, the characters. And then once you're ready, you go, I think I'm ready to go to rank. And then I go either play a full Battle Royale or I start playing rank. But the game modes are the same. So in a way, it's like what Respawn is doing is okay. I know battle royals are hard. You're used to playing Halo. You're used to playing Doom.
Mm-hmm.
So play this mode first. Once you think you get the hang of it, and then you go. So which is what I kind of did with my new friend. So I introduced her to Apex, but she goes, "Oh, I'm so used to Halo Infinite." I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's start with the battle royale mode first. Let's start with the what do you call that? The deathmatch first. So let her get used to it, and then when she flips over to the battle royale mode, she goes, "Okay, not so much." But with Street Fighter, it seems like there's no. Okay, here's where you start for again filthy casuals like myself.
mm.
Okay.
And then once you get used to the mechanics, once you're ready to go hardcore, and then you go to the tournament modes and then the reg modes. So I don't know how Camcom is positioning themselves because again, as you said, Joshua, like everything's open world now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So maybe to the dude that got Street Fighter 6 for Christmas, they go like, okay, I don't want to play fighting games, but I want to play open world games. So I'm gonna play this. And then the friend comes over and then goes like, hey, bro, you can fight with me. It's like, okay, I'll play that. But then after I'm done, when my friend goes home, then I go back to that.
Mm.
So it,
Okay.
it seems like you're right with they want to have their cake and eat it. So they go, there's actually two games here, dude. So guys, there's two games here. Hardcore gamers, you go here. Filthy casuals, you can go here. Right?
Yeah.
But if you get bored, you can just flip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You've actually convinced me. You've actually convinced me. Like, I thought I had a rebuttal when I was thinking about it. I was like, I had got nothing to say. I really no, really, I didn't want to agree with the whole. I just felt like it was a dumbing down of the game, right? Like,
Right.
but because it talks a lot about not talks a lot about it speaks to the fact that when we already questioned it before, right? Like, is the complexity of gameplay a barrier of entry? It's something that I think that Josh and I talked about. I think you and I have talked about before, Arman, in terms of like, why does it have to be this complex?
Mm.
Like, why does the timing have to be so chun chun? You know what I mean? Like, so on the dot, right? Like, why like red parries or top deflections or whatever it is? You know what I mean? Like, in different games, they all have it,
Mm.
and it's not because I don't like it. I don't like. It's not because I don't like the innovation,
Mm.
but I also felt like I feel like this is the greatest segue of all time because we talked about trying to get plebs in, right, and get noobs in, and they don't want to get washed, so they learn in a totally new game, and I didn't buy that logic until now. I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense. If I'm learning in a safe environment where I'm not
Yes.
getting like wrecked by somebody with a mic who's going jump again, noob, I dare you, uppercut. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
it's I buy the logic now. You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense to me that like you're taking that and you're going into another space, and I feel that maybe it softens the blow of the skill gap,
Mm.
right? And we're not talking about the skill gap just in using modern controls where forward plus A or B or both buttons or whatever does a fireball, or down and whatever does an uppercut, or you know what I mean? Like the simplified mechanics of some of the games that are coming out with now, like King of Fighters, Street Fighter 6 is the latest example of this. I think DBZ also has something. Dragon Ball Fighters also has something like this. So I wonder, like, because it makes a lot of sense, right? Like, now you hop in there and it's almost like it's a beat 'em up game. You know what I mean? It's almost like playing Final Fight or Streets of Rage or something like that, right? Like, you know their moves. You have to learn how to do the moves eventually, but they're not encased in solid gold. There's no Mortal Kombat ice block you need to crack before you can unlock the code for you to do something. You learn as you play the game.
Yeah, dude, that's why they're saying
Yeah.
like World War is like
The best training.
it's kind of like Shenmue and like
Shenmue,
Yeah.
yeah, Shenmue,
yeah,
yeah.
it's Shenmue. It's like it's like
Yakuza.
Yakuza, man.
Yeah. Josh,
Yeah,
cheat my
this is
feelings, man. I
Street
feel like you
Fighter's
did a lot of homework today. You cheat my feelings, man. I feel like unprepared. I know we did notes and all, but damn, you caught me with my pants down.
No, but I think it's right. I mean, it's like I think it's also and it's the same thing. Just to go back to like what Arman was saying, right? It's also balancing to what audiences expect. Like nowadays, I mean, if you recall back, like Street Fighter 2, Super Turbo, whatever, right? It's there is no such thing as a cinematic in a finishing move, right?
Oh no, yeah, not at all.
Yeah. So and like the complexities in terms of how cinematic the finishing move actually looks, that was never a big thing. Whereas now, in terms of the visuals, how it looks, how it's presented, but also the complexities where to keep things fresh from each iteration of the title, right? They, in a sense, they're kind of pushed into a corner when it comes to developers and publishers, where they do have to keep that up.
Innovating, right?
Yeah, so I guess they are also pressured to. And Arman, you rightly said it. It's like buying two games in one, right? So, but why do you need to force your development team to develop two games in one? Because people expect the Far Cry shit to happen in your in your fighting games. Like, how are we going to bring that in?
Yeah. I guess you're right. You're using the pre-existing format, right, to build a new game. So okay, we talked about this a little bit, but I want to kind of circle back to, and I know it's related to gameplay. So the drive mechanics, I get it. I think for guys like us, this old school type of Street Fighter type players, when we go 5 hits as a combo, and 3 of those hits was an auto combo because the uppercut hits 3 times, you're like, oh, feels good. It does a big chunk of damage, you know what I mean? Like, but then you get like newer games, and then people can drop like, I think, what's the longest combo? Okay, the longest combo I've seen in tournament in Street Fighter 4, 27 hits, right? Daigo on Momochi, and this was grand finals, and Daigo just did it because he could do it. The combo didn't kill. He just hit him 27 times, and it was doing no damage. He just did it because he wanted to mentally break somebody, right? Now, Street Fighter has never had such things before, right? Like, Street Fighter 3, I don't think you could go that high on a combo. I think you might go maybe 10, and half of that is maybe, or a quarter of that is maybe a super. So that's not really, like, or Chun-Li hits you with, like, her kicks, right? Which is like a 20-hit kick thing. That's not really counted, like, that's not a long combo. That is a single input combo, right? I would say, right? You input one time, it comes out, hits you 20 times. So, because one of the things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way in SF4 was they got Combo Fiend to design some of the move sets that were coming out and the combos and the intricacies of the game, and he was the reason why that game had one frame links, because he's so good at linking combos. He's just like, well, if you can't do it, then you're not good enough. Get good, dude. You know what I mean? Like, and like all the guys who are up here, they're like, yeah. We can do it. We're good. And all the guys down here, we gotta jump into the game like the first time you bought the game, and it's been 3 years since the game is out. And you're like, hey, when's my turn?
Yeah.
When's my turn? What kind of chess set is this? And remember, Josh, I was talking about it, right? Like, Street Fighter was chess before, right?
Yeah.
But now it can seem like you're playing checkers and somebody's got a king move and he's just double crossing all of you up and down the board. He's taking half your pieces. I don't know. Like, we talked about it earlier, right? Arma mentioned it's like, build the game for your fans. I was like, I don't know whether this is building a game for my fans, though. You know what I mean? Like,
But see, who are their fans? You guys.
but we're not hardcore.
Yeah, we are.
Just
Parry,
'cause
parry down, parry, slide, parry down, slide,
I've
parry, parry.
never parried you in a game, all right? I just
I like, what am I doing here? I haven't hit you once, right? What's parry, right, in a fighting game, right? So again, coming from where I was, fighting games to me was the most move you've done was a forward circle punch. That was the move. That was, oh wow, you could do a fireball, cool dude. Now and looking all the pro gamers are like, how? Like I just showed John one clip. It was 99 on the counter.
Mm-hmm.
It was the second round. Ryu just did this massive combo, just
Oh,
wipe him. It's perfect, and the counter was 99.
did you see
Wow.
this? It was a drive. He hit him with something, and then he entered into a crumple state with the drive meter,
Mm-hmm.
and then hit him with a super, and it just cleared his gauge. His life gauge
Really?
was 0.
Yes,
This is SF6, no?
Oh yeah,
yes,
Wow.
that is
and
OP.
yeah, that's OP. And then I was there, go like, yep, I'm not playing that. Because
But
I go, how can I do that? How do I, even with the guy who is supposedly a good Street Fighter player, he can't even block that. And I'm like, what chance do I have?
Actually, that brings up another thing. This idea of one hit kills as well, right?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like the one combo that is a
I
death
mean the
combo.
Guilty Gear stuff.
Yeah, the 100%
You
combo,
think
right?
this?
Yeah. You just keep hitting you, keep hitting you, keep hitting you, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
let's just take the
Okay,
round
it's
off
totally
then.
different than the Guilty Gear. It's not- That's the combo shit.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna put down my controller and watch the cinematic happen.
Like 30 seconds just for the screen to come up and say destroyed, right? Yeah, come on, do it.
Yeah, it's. I just don't know about it though. You know, like. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go,
so
yeah.
yeah, so my question here is like, when you see that, you guys go, I want to try that, right?
We do.
You guys will go, I want to try that. Whereas with me, you go like, I don't want to play that. You see the difference?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
In-
it's like somebody playing a game of chess, and someone gets you in 5 moves, and you're like, oh man, I thought I could get the chance to think, and it turns out I
Right.
got caught by somebody's muscle memory on the board.
Yeah,
I don't know.
so going back to that where you said it was the fans, like I think Street Fighter has always been about the fans because that's why they keep improving the mechanics of the game. Like that's why they introduce all these combos, these parries. Because again, from my era, blocking is just press back. That's it. Tum 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 tum. And then they introduce you have to block if it's like a high, you have to block high. If it's a low, you have to block a low.
Yeah.
Then they introduce that, right? And then they slowly introduce other type of blocking or parry, then counter. I'm like, huh? You how? The what? Because again, your brain has to function allow motor skills and go like, look what's happening, right? And then, okay, so this is again, this is how hardcore John is. Again, when
Oh,
we talk
come
about
on.
fight, dude, no serious. We talk about, I go like, hey, how is that possible? Then he goes, oh, bro, you're in my frame. You're in my pixel. You know the pixel hit count is like, yeah, like the fuck? How am I supposed to see a fucking pixel on a fucking
I don't know.
STV, right?
I don't know anything about frames. I should.
Oh
but-
yeah. Roll eyes. Doesn't know.
Yeah, because I go, hey John, I think I blocked it. Then he goes, no, you were a millisecond too late. The animation will follow through. It registered as the pixel as you were about to block, but it connected. I go like, how do people like so? But see, this is what fighting gamers talk about.
Yeah, you're right.
They
It's
break it down all the way down to the pixel. The animation started, even though I go, no, I blocked. No. The animation started before you blocked, right? And then it's also depends on what type of animation, how long does animation take? Are you allowed to make that block before? But again, to casual gamers like me, like, no, that's not fair, John.
I get that, and I think they've done a lot to try and fix this as well, right? Like they've included frame data, so they know what.
It's like, what is frame data in fighting
they've
games?
included it, but I have no idea how to use it. But
Yeah, and it's still heavily reliant on your reaction time, right? Like, but if you know roughly what beats what, you're like, okay, this jab is 3 frames, but the other guy's jab is 5 frames, so you know that if I press the button at the same time, I'm gonna hit him first. So
Right. Okay.
it's
So
that like,
good thing, John, that you spoke. So this is also John's explanation again. I've been playing fighting games with him for quite. He goes, "Oh, bro, sometimes it's rock paper scissors."
yes,
You remember
Yeah.
you said that to me,
yes,
John?
yes, yes.
I go like, "What the fuck is sorry? What the f is rock paper scissors in a fighting game? Punch is a punch, lah." I said, "No, no, no. If you punch light punch and then I negate and then I parry, it beats your punch." I'm like,
Mm.
"What?"
But dude, we play card games, and it's the same.
Yeah, no, but see, card game, there's no pixels. There's no like, oh,
No,
I
but
throw
we got
first and
physical
then John threw
cards.
faster by 1 second, right? But with Street Fighter, as you said, it's like sometimes rock paper scissors. Like some
Yeah.
punch, you know what to counter with that punch.
Hmm.
You guys go into that detail, like a roundhouse kick. I have to parry and then do this, and then I can get like at least one hit in, right? And then once you connect that hit, you go, I'll do this combo 1 2 7 7 4 4 3 4, right? It's already in your
Checking
head. You
combos.
know already, right? Like
I
Yeah.
you're gonna roundhouse kick me like that, I'll duck and then I'll start my combo.
it's okay. So here's the thing, right? Like, I really do want to live in a world where data doesn't exist. I really do.
It's too
Hands down.
complex.
I think it ruins the game. I really do think that the science of playing Street Fighter via math, it kind of ruins the game for me.
Mhm.
And it's something I had to learn when I was trying to get into the FGC in Malaysia, the fighting game community and all that. And when you play with them, that's all they talk about. You know what I mean? And okay. I learn. I try to learn. I try to keep up with you guys. And like, it's nothing like going to the arcade and getting whooped by somebody
Yeah.
and you didn't know why. And he goes, well, the
Mm.
rock beats scissors and paper beats rock,
Mm-hmm.
but paper gets beaten by scissors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like, this is why that happened. And he doesn't tell me that, like, oh no, it's because 6 frames forward, 2 frames back, hit stun, block stun, whatever stun.
I think we need to blame the internet for this
It kind of,
and information.
well, I mean, speedrunners are the same, right? Like when you watch
Yeah.
them play Mario, the classic Mario, and they can finish it in 5 minutes or something like that, and they talk about frame perfect timing jumps and all that. I'm like, okay, they're talking about 1/60th of a frame now. I understand this now, right? Does that make me cooler? My wife doesn't think so, but you know what I mean. But I guess it's information now, right? Like it's already
Yeah.
stuck in my mind. Like even Punk, the Street Fighter player, he even came out on his stream. He said like, maybe the fighting game will be better off without frame data.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, wouldn't it just be more fun if you had to explore the game by yourself instead of consult a guidebook and then memorize all the information on your matchup? And you have like
Or-
2 characters in your back pocket. One's a Guile, one's a Ken, one's a Chun Li, and like, oh yeah. If this person uses this character, I use this one. Come on, man! I want to watch you play the game for game's sake.
Yeah.
Now it's like watching the UFC sometimes, right? They're all trying to play to not lose. They're trying to fight to not lose.
Play
Yeah.
to not, fight to not lose, not to win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you
Yeah.
were going to go out there and just go willy-nilly, you got to accept the fact that you might get knocked out too.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Totally
Yeah.
agree. Yeah. See? But see, that's what fighting games has become now.
You're
Frame
right.
rates, pixels,
Mhm.
You're
carries,
right.
and information. I go like, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. It's too deep. It's like, why? Like all active boxes, hit boxes? No. I mean,
Yeah.
why?
What was the first game to start that shit though? Karnov's Revenge. Fighters
What?
history.
I have no idea what game that is.
Wait. I gotta Google.
It's a really obscure game. It's a fighting game. Quite popular in the 90s.
Right. Karnov, Karnov.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you hit the last boss in the head, if you time your jump and your kick, and you hit him in the helmet or his headdress, it does more damage.
Oh, okay.
So it identified like, oh, some characters have weak points, and if you aim
Right.
for these points, then it translates to you benefiting in terms of getting closer to a victory.
Right.
In other ways would be like, let's say, Street Fighter V. Everybody's waiting for crush counter, so everyone's fishing, everyone's playing footsies
Mhm.
for either like low forward fireball if you're a Ken player or a Ryu player, or you're trying to fish for a crush counter where somebody messes up, they whiff, and then they get smashed, and then again somebody goes in and hits them with like a V trigger combo that takes off more than half their health and ends with a super that takes the other half. You know what I mean? Like again, like touch of death combos and all that. I can imagine like for me it's not fun, right? If I was playing a 5-year-old, they would not be happy that I just ripped them. You know what I mean?
But we'll be satisfied for a while, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? They did it to a little
A little
kid.
while.
Do you remember this? Okay, this is clip of Daigo playing this kid at some tournament, and he's just going mad on his control stick. It's like it turned into a gif about the struggle in life when someone's better than you in everything. And he just gone mad bananas with the thing because it's supposed to be
Horrible.
like
Horrible.
beat Daigo at Tokyo Game Show Day or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, but sometimes I feel like that. It's like what I liked about Killer Instinct was that their innovation became their innovation forever. They were never going to get away from it. All they did was add EX moves, right? That means the special move that hits you double or triple the times that it normally would, right? Mm-hmm. So the combo breaker system is now in Street Fighter 6 as part of the drive gauge, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, come on, man. You just take your stuff from other games and put that in your game. You know what I mean? Then when the new Killer Instinct comes out, you'll all be like, oh, yeah, but, you know, Killer Instinct, they have the same thing. And you'll be like, yeah, but it's because you don't have history. You don't know the games. I don't know. You know, like, is that the final iteration? You know what I mean? Like, all fighting games, you know what I mean? One game is all about combos. One game is all about not letting you play. The other game is about Street Fighter and chess and all that kind of stuff. And no matter what you do, and all these games will forever be like this. Until we, you know, hit some sort of evolutionary step in VR technology where I put my brain into the system, you know?
Or you
It's
just
like what
go
Apple
to the ring
designed.
and fight.
Yeah, I got to the ring and fight. Get blasted for
Stick a device in
real.
your face.
I don't know what you guys think about all that. You know what I mean? Like, cause I said a lot. I know I said a lot. It's supposed to be a dialogue, and here I am, diarrheaing, vomiting my opinions. But yeah, I just don't know. You know, I just feel like.
Yeah, I think I mean I totally get what you're saying. Like there probably are some right now in terms of like touch of death combos and moves to kill, take like 80% of your life bar away, right? But I think what's also I mean it's also happening in like fighting games where patches are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Patches do come up. So like I mean the core mechanics within the game when it's set and released, right, on a title, on a numbered title when it comes out, that will not change. But the balancing, I think most developers right now they will be looking into it. Like right now, it's not going to happen. It's only, I mean, there's a day one. I think there was a day one patch.
Yeah. No. That was Diablo 4, right? Diablo 4 had a day one patch.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I got confused. Yeah, so Diablo 4 had a day one patch, but I think for like Street Fighter, there will probably be a patch in a month or two.
Yeah, I think
So
so.
they're probably gonna do some number crunching in the back, looking at how the game's being played, what's the meta that's going to be forming, and yeah.
It's got to be a game as a service now, right? It's gonna, like, I think this might be the longest, probably running fighting game. It seems like to me. I don't think another iteration's coming out for another 8 years, if that. If they can continue the hype train, you know what I mean? Like, how long did they do Street Fighter 5 for? 5 years?
Oh, I think it was longer, dude. When was
It dropped. Oh, okay. So Street Fighter 4 dropped in 2009, and then it finished its run.
Street Fighter 5?
Yeah.
2016. So you're looking at like
8 years. 8
Yeah,
years of Street Fighter
2016.
4. That's a long time. 7 years for Street Fighter 5. That's actually pretty good.
But you know, Capcom is infamous for like Super Me Turbo, arcade me stuff. You know, so it's like, that's what they've been doing for 6 years.
Well, you see, now they bundled that as they call it DLC packs with Championship Edition and Super Edition.
DLC.
I know. Hey, I like the idea of buying a boxed game just like anyone else back in the day and all that. And if the DLC means I get a new version of the game and it's called something different and there are new bells and whistles, I'm willing to accept that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. You know what I mean? As long as they keep improving the game. You know what I mean? Like updating it in meaningful ways and all that kind of stuff. But it won't change the fact that I think between the three of us here, we're probably going to be bronze or iron forever kind of thing, like in terms of ranks screenplay, like you know what I mean. Somebody who
I
actually,
mean, for our skill level, for sure. I mean, it's going to be bronze, or I don't know what the
yeah,
entry point is for most of us. But going back to it, I mean, Street Fighter this is heritage for them, right? I mean, they did it. They started in '92, where they have several
1990
iterations from the same game, no?
1991, right?
Or maybe it was
Street Fighter
1991.
1. When was
Street
Street
Fighter was
Fighter 1?
1989, I think.
Yeah, see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So
Oh.
the second one, Street Fighter 2, had, I think if I'm not mistaken, right, on Street Fighter 2 itself, there were like 4 different versions
Yeah,
at the end.
Champion, Turbo, Super Turbo.
Yeah. And they did this without the internet. You know, it's like
Yeah,
it was,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
just
they
a
did do that.
conscious it
Yeah.
was just a conscious developer and marketing mindset where they felt like they didn't want to go back to the drawing board to develop something new, but reiterate and expand on
Yeah,
something that,
cost-effective expansion of your
yeah.
content.
I mean, it's not like they were lazy, but because at the same time they were working on the Alpha series and
Mm-hmm.
3, right?
Yeah.
Which took a number of years.
Well, I mean, SNK was the king of reusing sprites, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think the sprites were pretty much the same from 96 onwards, right? Like 94, 95 KOF were like same sprites, just different movement. 96, 97, 98, same.
Yeah.
99, 2000, 2001, same.
And across titles too, right? Like the Art of Fighting and stuff they were using.
Oh,
the
no,
same
no, those are different. Like,
Oh, those are
Art,
different?
yeah, Art of Fighting was definitely different. Like, if you played Art of Fighting 3, the old one, you see the frame rate on the characters was way more frames drawn. Like, a lot of frames. It looked like every move had like 60, 70 frames or something. I don't know. I'm just talking my eyes. But, okay.
Right, sorry. Because you were saying about versions, right? Did you know
Uh-huh.
that there was what was it, bootleg? Somebody cracked the game
Uh-huh.
and then they released it on SNES.
What
You can see
version is that? Street Fighter 3?
Yeah, super version.
Wait, how do you have this? You don't even have a Super Nintendo.
I do. I've got 2. So what this happens is
Why you never
it's-
tell me you have retro games, bro? You're offending
I
me.
do. I do. See, I even have this.
What?
Wow.
Oh, I feel
Really?
like this is gonna turn into a dick measuring contest. I'm gonna show you all my video games now.
No, because you were saying about versions, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys realize, but people were bootlegging the shit out of this.
Oh,
They
yeah,
were cracking the game
Wow.
and then they were selling it. Yeah, so I have that version here, right here.
Yeah, the Rainbow Edition, right, where you can do like
Yeah.
you can cover the screen in fireballs. Okay.
Yes, where Dalshim was
Oh, you
sliding
have
from
this?
screen to screen.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Without wasting too much time, we're getting on that hour mark already. I was get
Okay.
some closing thoughts, okay? And
Mm.
I just want to say, like, and let's start with, what do you think is going to? Do you think that the strategy that they've employed is going to be able to carry this game? Let's say they stop giving the $1 million after the 5th year, right? Because it's too expensive, not enough new players coming in, not enough DLC buys. Do you think that the game could last another 3 years on a lower amateur circuit that leads up to like things like Evo or CPT, but just the lesser price pool? Given the situation, like what are you guys' thoughts on that? Just to close it out.
Okay, so maybe Josh, you take the tournament side, then I'll take the filthy casual side.
Sure, I love it. I love it.
I mean, I think I might delve in a little bit into the filthy casual side if you don't mind, Arman.
yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean the prize pool is an attractive one, and it'll probably be quite a big hook to get people in, right? Especially in the initial onset. I think your speculation might be right. I mean, I don't think they can keep it up every year, but it depends, right? Because if they do manage to garner in eyeballs throughout the years, I mean, previously when it came to like Capcom Cup and even Evo Japan, Evo US and everything, they never had such a big prize. But I think viewership, if I'm not mistaken, has been increasing throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
So for throughout when it comes to like the fighting game community, right? So I think even if they didn't have that prize pool, they might still have that longevity in that, because the game has changed, right? So I mean, in this past hour, we spoke about how they have to adapt to new audiences and so on. But also now, and I think John, we spoke about this in the past, where they even have season passes now. I know that's going to
Yeah.
be the running format right
Yeah.
now, to ensure that there's that revenue stream that comes in before they hit the next super dream turbo whatever arcade stuff. So even before we get there,
Street Fighter 6 Dreamliner Edition.
yeah. So what Capcom actually did was they actually already announced throughout next year. I mean, it came out on leaks, so everybody kind of knew who the characters they were going to release.
Oh, right.
But we already have guys like you're gonna have like Akuma coming out. Rashid is gonna be out as well. So they're already getting us in the mindset where, hey, this was announced before launch.
Oh no.
Oh no,
Did we lose him?
I think so. Yeah.
A few moments later.
Okay.
Eh,
So he said, why don't you have your thoughts first then?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of longevity, right? So that was the question, right?
Yeah.
I think so far with the revival of, I think, was it Street Fighter 4?
Yeah.
Was the resurgence of, oh, okay, Street Fighter is back with a vengeance,
Hey,
right?
he's
Oh,
back.
there he is.
But yeah, continue. Finish your thought first.
Yeah, back with a vengeance, right? So people were like, oh, okay, it's kind of new. I think some were like, I'm not used to this kind of Street Fighter, and then some were like, okay, I'm trying to get into it. And then eventually it became what it is today. And then we look at Street Fighter 5, it's a huge thing, right? And then now Street Fighter 6, everyone's excited. So I really believe that in terms of whether you're going to alienate people with the game or whether you're going to alienate filthy casuals like myself, it's really dependent on how they market. I think like the world tour thing is a gateway, but it may not be everything, because I feel that what Street Fighter is now, it is what do you call that? Dark Souls is. Street Fighter is the Dark Souls of fighting games,
Okay.
right? Because Dark Souls is like, who would want to be tortured for like
Okay.
fucking
I see what
20
you
hours?
mean.
Oh, I have to parry, I have to fight this, I die one time, right?
Yeah.
So people thought it was crazy for From Software to come out with something like that. Like, who would want to play this? It's so difficult. We're used to God of War. We're used to like quick action games. Who's gonna torture themselves playing this game? But look where From Software is right now.
Yeah.
Bloodborne. What was it? Elden Ring, was it? Is it the latest one?
Elden Ring is not the eldest.
Yeah, I think that's the latest one. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
From
right.
Yeah, I think it's from. But you know what the worst part is, dude?
What?
From Software actually has done? I think it was since Bloodborne where they allowed like people online to save their own characters in your game, and they can invade your game and kill you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they have a ghost mode, right? Yeah.
They have the ghost.
That's mean.
That's quite toxic.
Yeah, but
it works.
I like it though. I like it.
Right.
It's
Right,
mean.
but you see people go like, oh, you're crazy, no one's gonna play that, right?
Yeah.
Who want to play a tough game like that? But look where it is now. Elden Ring, game of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like adventure games, but I'm not touching that shit, right? Because I played Bloodborne. I go like, dude, this is difficult.
Yeah,
It's
man,
really
I couldn't finish.
because it's literally like Street Fighter. Parry, swipe, run, memorize move, or this guy does one swing, two swing, left swing, fireball, run. So I go like, hey, that's kind of like what Street Fighter is now. You have to know your opponent, memorize their moves, what they have, right? And then you can successfully parry, right? So in terms of longevity for like a casual, it's I can easily just brush it off and go like, oh no, it's not going to pick up, because again, it's not a pick me up fighting game, right? But I think what Street Fighter has done, what Capcom has done again, is they go, yeah, there's a game where you can take it seriously. It's there. But somewhere there's also like if a casual fighting with your friends, you over for a party, have a good time. That's about it. So I think if they're smart, they're probably going to introduce some casual type gameplays.
Maybe Puzzle Fighter.
Yeah, bro.
Maybe.
Puzzle Fighter
Yeah.
2024 edition.
Yeah, but see, in terms of longevity, I think what we saw with Street Fighter 5, as you said, 2016, right? Is the last. It's 8 years. That's a long time for a fighting game.
Yeah.
Whereas we look at sports game every year.
Yep.
FIFA 2021, FIFA 2022, FIFA 2023. It's just, what are you guys doing? Updating one player roster. Like, that's it,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the sad
right?
part, isn't it?
Yeah,
And I'm a
but
sucker.
for
I
Street
buy NBA
Fighter,
2K every year.
yeah, see? But for Street Fighter, I go like, how is it around after 8 years? And then people are still excited with the 6.
Yeah.
So there must be something there.
Yeah.
It can't just be with the hardcore gamers. It cannot just be from the content creators. It cannot just be from the circuit players like yourself, right? There has to be some form of way where you guys create that hype, where us normies go like, I want to be the next Nigo. I want to be the next Daigo. I want to be the next this one, right?
Yeah.
So the aspiration is there, but you got to start somewhere, right?
I guess so.
So true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh, want to finish your thought before you got laptop cut?
No. I think succinctly, I think that was only my point. But I think Arman finished off really well. Where sometimes it could be. I mean, we need something to aspire to, and longevity does figure in eventually, right? Because as we go on, I mean, we bring on the interest, right, to drag on. So I mean, developers and publishers have something to do with it as well, but it's us as a community who have to keep on driving at it before they can think about
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I feel like you guys have expanded my horizons a bit today. I didn't feel like I thought I would come into this feeling very stubborn about it. You know what I mean? Like just generally, right? Like not because I'm like a pro player or whatever, right? But I just felt like, I feel like you're trying to pull the wool over my eyes kind of thing, And I feel like, yeah, truth be told, I feel like maybe I changed my mind a little bit about it. Will I still pick it up? I'm not sure whether I'm ready for this kind of pain anymore. You know what I mean? Like, these hands are so old, So, and yeah, but I think it's cool that I feel like we kind of covered our bases here. You know what I mean? Like we talked a lot about the different aspects of everything so far. You know what I mean? It's been a long hour, but I don't think it's been an unentertaining one. I think it's been a decent one. So I think with all that, I'd like to put it to a close. And thanks, Arman, for coming on and doing the show with us. And Josh, thank you for your time. I know it's been a busy day for you.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you, Arman. Nice meeting you.
Yep. Thank you, Joshua.
This is
Yeah.
awesome.
All right.
I do like this. I like this.
Yeah, we could do more. Don't worry. Okay, so just to cut us out, and we're